Line 'em Up is a simple game that has a big payout with a car and 3 smaller prizes. Line up the numbers in the price of the car and you win them all. Not too much to say about this one as we slowly approach the 2000s. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Line 'em Up. Number 5. It shares its name with another game show. Following in the footsteps of so many other games of the 1990s, Line 'em Up was also the name of a Canadian game show from 1962 to 1963. Hosted by Rick Campbell, the show was popular but only lasted 1 season. There's also a recent mini-series with the name Line 'em Up as well, but this is a different genre entirely. Number 4. It's the second game in a row to debut music. The Think music this game inherited in 1998 was reused from one of the many modernized cues from the 1994 syndicated version of the show. It was really by this point when The Price is Right was starting to get past many of the same cues used repeatedly from the 1970s to the mid-1990s, a welcome change as the game's demographic shifted much younger. Number 3. Slight color change. After the game's first playing, the labels with the prizes on them were changed from gray to black. Otherwise, number 2, the game has remained unchanged. Since this initial change at the very beginning, Line 'em Up has looked exactly as it did since its 1998 debut. A welcome sight for those who would rather have games remain the same from their inceptions. And the number 1 fun fact about Line 'em Up: the idea dates back to 1980. The original idea for Line 'em Up dates back to a presentation by Chris Clementson in January of 1980. However, the current version of the game with the sliders and the 3 smaller prizes was perfected by Kathy Greco, whom I've discussed often on this channel as one of the true backbones of The Price is Right. And just as a preview for my next review, I let out an audible "ugh" when I saw it. Oh god, it's clearance sale. Clearance Sale is yet another game of the 1990s that recycles elements from previous games and passes it off as something original. We will get into some excellent new games soon, but for now we're just going to have to go through the motions with yet another cookie-cutter game with a familiar premise. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Clearance Sale. Number 5. There were several music changes. Clearance Sale went through several different song changes early on in its run as the contestant placed their sale prices on the items. I would love to play them for you, but I'm trying to stay friends with Fremantle during this series. Number 4. The game used balloons. To convey the full image of a clearance sale, the game used balloons. I do not know if they are real or fake balloons, but if they were real, that seems like it would be a real hassle to set up every time the game is played. If anyone knows this for sure, be sure to let me know because I honestly can't tell either way. Number 3. It's a combination of Barker's Bargain Bar and Easy as 1, 2, 3. Somehow this game is the perfect combination of these 2 already well-established games. I know the show is looking for quicker games that could be played in a shorter time span, but the recycling of ideas was really starting to weigh on the quality of these new games. Number 2. It was delayed due to Monica Lewinsky. Say this game debuted in 1998 without saying it debuted in 1998. Clearance Sale was pushed back 1 day due to the coverage of the scandal featuring then-President Bill Clinton and his issues with perjury. In the 1990s, while special reports did happen, they weren't nearly as commonplace as they are now, with CBS willing to break into regular programming for just about any reason they see fit. One day I am going to do a commentary video about special reports and whether or not they are still needed. And the number 1 fun fact about Clearance Sale: it was retired because it was tired. Kathy Greco referred to the game as having run its course when it was retired in 2009. Too similar to the already established Easy as 1, 2, 3, and probably not the simplest game to set up with its balloons. The staff just felt like it was the right time to goodnight Clearance Sale. And if you think Clearance Sale lacked creativity, wait until my next review. One wrong price is essentially the polar opposite of the already established one right price, except it's tougher and offers more prizes. Another fast game in a new fast era of the show. Here we go with 5 fun facts about one wrong price. Number 5. The title is not seen anywhere. Although standard in the earliest days of the show, every game with the exception of 2 have had their titles printed somewhere on the game. The other game to share this distinction? 5 price tags. Number 4. Clever seasonal name. In June of 2017, during the Summer Beach Party episode, the game was renamed 1 Sarong Price. And y'all say my puns are bad. Number 3. It debuted the same year Super Bowl was retired. Although I understand the reasoning behind it, that doesn't mean I have to like it. 1998 was a year that saw Super Bowl retired in favor of games such as this one. To me, it feels like trading an expertly grilled rainbow trout for a Long John Silver's big catch. Anyone else hungry now? Number 2. It has a 47% win percentage. One positive thing about this game is that just about half of all contestants who play it leave with 3 prizes headed their way. Now that's pretty cool. And the number 1 fun fact about 1 Wrong Price, it has been played for 3 cars. As much as I'm not a fan of this game, it has given away the ultimate prize. Or should I say, 3 ultimate prizes. The first time this happened was in 2003 for the Price is Right $1 Million Spectacular Bob's Birthday Party. It also happened as recently as 2024. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, I don't love the next game to debut either. The 90s overall have let me down, but the 2000s are just around the corner. Pushover is a simple game that takes the pushing off the table element of bump and the select the correct range element of range game and makes a completely original game. A quick one with an interesting quirk in its winning chances. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Pushover. Number 5. Set change. In 2016, the set for Pushover was changed when its iconic hands were removed and the colors were changed from red and yellow to blue, yellow, and orange. How do you feel about this set change? Let me know below. Number 4. It shares its name with a classic film. Pushover, albeit spelled as one word instead of 2, is also the name of a 1954 crime drama film starring Fred MacMurray and Kim Novak. Even the movie's tagline has another Price is Right game inside of it, although I don't think this is the story about being offered 4 nice small prizes and a car. Number 3. Oops. One time while explaining the game, Bob accidentally opened the panel with the correct answer. Obviously, he had to give away the prize. Now that is a default win if I've ever seen one. Number 2. A contestant once won due to a technicality. In one of the most blink and you miss it errors ever, during the introduction of the prizes, a computer was read as a Dell when in reality it was an HP. The contestant lost the game but was awarded the prize anyway due to the mistake in the description. Kudos to the show for allowing the contestant to win as the result of the error. And the number 1 fun fact about Pushover, bigger prizes are possibly easier to win. Technically, the odds are more in the favor of the contestants when playing for a 5-digit prize because there are always 9 blocks to begin the game no matter what. Just an interesting little thing to remember the next time you see this game played for a car. As for next time, we're going to let the good times roll with another excellent review of 5 fun facts about all US pricing games. Let 'em Roll is a fun game that is unlike anything we have seen up to this point, although it is arguable that there are elements of Plinko and dice game mixed in. Always fun to watch the dice go down the slide and big wins as a result. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Let 'em Roll. Number 5. It is loosely based on Yahtzee. The premise of taking 3 turns to roll 5 dice is the basic gameplay of the classic game Yahtzee. Except since the dice are half cars, the odds of achieving a Yahtzee, or 5 of a kind, is far greater than trying to achieve one in the actual game. It is still one of my all-time favorites, though. Number 4. The quality of the dice. The first version of the dice were made out of styrofoam. However, styrofoam chips very easily and were remade in 2000 with wood. In 2008, the dice were remade again when the show began production in high definition. The enhancements were definitely needed for the high-res output. Number 3. Increased in difficulty. It is said that while Roger Dobkowitz was producer, the product price selection was made to be extraordinarily easy. However, since he left, this part of the game has been made much more difficult. I wonder if that was a Mike Richards decision. It very well could have been. Number 2. The game's enlargement. When Let 'Em Roll first premiered, the slide was very short and didn't provide a ton of room to mix up the dice. In 2003, a much longer dramatic slide was introduced where the contestant had to climb a small set of stairs to reach the top of it. And the number 1 fun fact about Let 'Em Roll, it is the last game of the 1990s. We finally made it through the 90s. This was a very difficult decade to get through with only a few exceptions for solid creative new games. Luckily, there is going to be a rebirth of sorts in the 2000s. And boy, are we going to be off to a fun start next time. I love Flipflop, but for all the wrong reasons. Every time this quick game is played, you never know what's going to happen. A game that probably should have been retired years ago but just keeps on going. It's time to welcome in the 2000s in style. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Flipflop. Number 5. Breton. Here's what you've all been waiting for. In 2005, a contestant named Breton played Flipflop by just jumping right to the conclusion, hitting the button, and ending the game. Bob marched off stage saying he was going home and didn't want to be next to that troublemaker. He ended up giving Breton his prize. The clip was uploaded to YouTube back in 2006, where it became one of the most watched Price is Right moments ever at over 11 million views. Do you think Breton cheated, or do you think this was just an honest mistake? Let me know below. Number 4. The East Coast didn't see Breton twice. In an interesting twist of events, the East Coast missed Breton's gameplay not once, but twice. The first time, the show was preempted due to coverage of the funeral of Pope John Paul II. In the rebroadcast, it was preempted due to the PGA Championship being rescheduled due to rain. Either way, the East Coast wasn't able to watch Breton until it was uploaded to YouTube in 2006. Number 3. The game was modified to prevent these issues. With other contestants having hit the button themselves, it was moved out of view in 2011 to prevent this mistake from happening. Even still, Drew still lets the contestant do it anyway. It just cuts down on premature endings. Number 2. A contestant once played Flipflop in Flip-Flops. In what many would consider to be an absolute sin in fashion, a man wearing flip-flops over socks played Flip-Flop. The fact that this man was allowed on national TV wearing flip-flops over socks means there are some serious vetting issues with the Price is Right staff. I'm just kidding, of course, it's just footwear. Awful footwear, but footwear nonetheless. And the number 1 fact about Flipflop, the game malfunctions often. Between the panel getting stuck, cards falling out, and the button not working, there have been countless malfunctions of this game. At this point, it's only worth watching just to see what could go wrong. And next time, the 2000s will continue on a roll with so far arguably the most lucrative game since Golden Road will debut. You won't want to miss it. Triple Play is easily the most lucrative game since Golden Road. 3 cars are given away in this game that is played very sporadically. Wins are extremely rare, but spectacular. Although the gameplay seems simple enough, it is anything but. The biggest game to debut in many years, here we go with 5 fun facts about Triple Play. Number 5. It was the last game to premiere with Janice and Kathleen on staff. Let's get this dark fact out of the way first, and yes, it is a dark one, not so much a fun fact in this case. In December 2000, Kathleen Bradley, who had been a model since 1990, and Janice Pennington, who had been with the show since day one in 1972, were abruptly terminated. In this direct quote from the LA Times, Bradley believes she and Pennington were fired because of depositions the women gave countering Barker's statements while under oath in a wrongful termination lawsuit filed by former colleague Holly Hallstrom, who claimed she was fired in 1995 because of weight gain. I intend on going into these darker stories in depth in the future, but for now, I'll just say the entire situation is very much a dark cloud on the show. Number 4. One playing was scrapped from an episode. In 2003, a playing of Triple Play had to be scrapped because it was decided that the wrong contestant won the one-bid round. The game was lost immediately, so it wasn't like the contestant missed out on 3 cars or anything. Instead, there was some scrambling behind the scenes, and Money Game was played for the second car in Triple Play. The worst part about this episode was that it happened on October 28th, one day after the passing of Rod Roddy. Alright, now on to much happier facts. Number 3. It shares its name with a Square One TV game show. This one is near and dear to me. Square One TV is one of my favorite educational programs of all time. Within the show, there was a game show named Triple Play. Here, 2 contestants would spin 2 wheels with digits and would add or multiply the digits to create an equilateral triangle. I have had several requests to review Square One game shows. Don't worry, they're coming. Number 2. It was created because of a wish by Bob. Bob wanted a game where there would be a car behind each set of the big doors. Originally in its idea phase as a game called Slam Dunk, only one of the cars would have been given away. However, the staff thought it would be unfair to offer cars that they would have no intentions of giving away, so the game was repurposed to give away 3 cars. And the number 1 fun fact about Triple Play, it is arguably the rarest game of the current rotation. With such a huge prize, it is no surprise that Triple Play is not played very often. Triple Play is the only pricing game in the current rotation to have never been played more than 10 times in a season. To top it off, it has only been won, as of this recording, 14 times, giving it a win percentage of 13%. That's even less than Golden Road. Winning this game is an absolutely incredible feat. And fans, I read your comments. I think I should be dreading the next game on this list. It's gonna be another good one though. That's Too Much is a game that, judging by the opinions of many, is not the most beloved game I will be reviewing today. A game that is in some ways an antithesis to the basic premise of The Price is Right, this game requires the contestant to go higher than the actual retail price to win a car. Love it or hate it, it is certainly played often. Maybe too often? The first game of the 21st century. Here we go with 5 fun facts about That's Too Much! Number 5. Split Screen. Early in the show's run, a split box was used to show the next price in the lineup along with a car being offered. This was very quickly eliminated though after only a few playings of the game. Number 4. That's Too Ninth. An interesting observation about That's Too Much is that the crew seem to use this game as a means of judging how much time is left in the show. The too much price would be very early if the show is running long, and later if the show is running short. However, it was observed that the price kept continuing to fall on either the 2nd or the 9th spot. This caused major fan backlash, many of whom called for the game to be retired. Adjustments were made, but likely for any credibility this game had, the damage was done. Number 3. A $51,000 Tesla win was not seen by the East Coast. In 2019, a contestant named Gregory won a Tesla Model 3. However, the East Coast did not see this because of a CBS special report. To make matters worse, it was a story that easily could have waited until the CBS Evening News because it dealt with the investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election. If this isn't proof that networks have gotten too trigger-happy with special reports, I don't know what is. And to top all that off, the episode was uploaded to YouTube only to have it blocked by Fremantle. Number 2. The rules kind of changed with Drew Carey. When Bob Barker hosted the show, a contestant screaming, "That's too much!" would immediately end the game. That was like a Millionaire final answer. No takebacks. With Drew as the host, he has allowed contestants to continue after saying that's too much if they decide they want to keep going. I think this is a tad unfair to contestants who played under Bob, but what do you think? Let me know below. And the number one fun fact about That's Too Much, it has a 22% win percentage. Only won less than a fourth of the time it's played, That's Too Much is not considered one of the more successful games on the show. I'd wager you're probably tired of me talking about this game anyway. That's okay because the next review is going to be bonkers. Literally. Bonkers is a wild game where the contestant must move at lightning speed in order to win. Using some elements from Split Decision as well as the physical aspect of Race Game, and you have a fun little game that can make for excellent television. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Bonkers. Number 5. The audience can be detrimental. Much like with Race Game, stopping to listen to the audience will slow the gameplay down considerably. It is helpful, however, that Drew advises this to the contestants because sometimes it can be distracting to do anything with 100 some odd people yelling at you. Number 4. It appeared on Ellen. The once beloved, now long since forgotten Ellen DeGeneres show once featured Bonkers as part of a way to promote Drew Carey. Luckily for all involved, The Price is Right is still going strong, while Ellen is mercifully missing from the modern-day airwaves. Number 3. It can't be played for a car. If you find any car under $10,000 even as early as 2001, you're probably driving a hollowed-out hunk of steel. Due to inflation of cars, which has been a factor since the very beginning of the show, it isn't possible to play Bonkers for a 5-digit prize. 4 digits only for this game. Although a 5-digit version isn't out of the question, it doesn't seem likely at the moment. Number 2. The game malfunctions on occasion. In 2008, the game malfunctioned to the point where although the contestant Katie lost, Drew had to give her the prize anyway. The lights, which were quite confusing by flashing during gameplay, broke standards and practices, according to Drew, and the prize had to be awarded anyway. There have been other smaller malfunctions too, here and there. And the number 1 fun fact about Bonkers, it shares its name with an animated series. The Disney animated series Bonkers aired for 2 seasons in the early 1990s and featured an all-star voice cast including the likes of Ron Perlman, Maurice LaMarche, and Rip Taylor. Will my next review share its name with another famous show? Perhaps Bill Cullen would have the answer. Pass the Buck is a good game which debuted in October of 2001 and is still played to this day. Easy to understand and very high giveaways, there isn't much negative to be said about this one, aside from maybe how often wins occur. Here we go with 5 fun facts about Pass the Buck. Number 5. The game's original format. Originally, Pass the Buck was played with 8 choices where the contestant had 3 options to lose everything. By early 2002, this was changed to the current 6-choice version still played today. Number 4. It has a 28% win percentage. Pass the Buck is won a little over a quarter of the time it is played. Not the greatest win percentage, but there are also plenty of opportunities for not walking home empty-handed, which leads me to... Number 3. What counts as a win? In Pass the Buck, the game is considered a win if the contestant wins the car. A contestant can win up to $9,000 in its current format without technically being considered a win. Considering that's only $1,000 less than Grand Game, I'd say that's a pretty successful loss. Number 2. Spectacular Big Money Week playings. During Big Money Week, the amount of money dramatically increases and the game can be played for far more money than most games offer in cash. For example, in 2021, a contestant could win a maximum of $80,000 playing Pass the Buck. These kinds of playings really add a great deal of energy to the game. And the number 1 fun fact about Pass the Buck, it shares its name with a Bill Cullen game show. Bill Cullen hosted a show named Pass the Buck briefly in 1978. The game was created by Bob Stewart, and although it didn't run long, it is still fondly remembered today by fans of the legendary host.